All right. Welcome. Happy Friday, beautiful kings and queens, friends and family all over the world. My beautiful sister, bestie, Queen Jennie. How are you doing today? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And man, do we have some updates for you. We are on day 18 of our 100-day juice feast. And we have been going through it. We have been going through it, and we're so excited and happy to be sharing with you today our ups, our downs, what's been going on for us, how we've been feeling. It has not been easy. It's definitely been a journey, and we've been with each other through it all, encouraging each other every single day, supporting one another, and, just mentoring each other through our ups and downs. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I could have made it this far, traveling, being with children, going through different emotions, going through a lobster fest in Placencia. Like, there was so much temptation, not necessarily lobster, but, other foods, other cooked foods like veggies and, like all my favorite foods. In the tropics, even fruit, like staying on the juice has not been easy. Making my juices in my little hotel room with my juicer and all that, it's taking a lot of commitment. So thank you so much for joining me, Queen Jennie. We've been doing these every week since the beginning of our juice feast, and we love keeping you updated. We love bringing you on our journey. And I know it hasn't been easy for you. You have two little ones. Hi, Jordan. You have two little ones you're taking care of. You're making food for them every single day. Tell us a little bit how you've been doing on day 18, beautiful.
Thank you, darling. I am doing good. I have been having a lot going on too. Like you, I've had family in town, family out of town, going to the malls, doing all the things, families, eating the restaurants while they're visiting and cooking for everyone. And it's a lot. But I'm feeling strong and steadfast and just thankful to, have a partner in this. This is really like a testament to the power of coaching and friendship and having friends that are coaches. I heard once the term expanders, keeping people in your life that help you to expand and reach for, the highest heights. And so I'm just so very thankful to have that. I also don't think I would have gotten as far if not for having your support and love and also wanting to succeed so that you succeed. There's that added bonus of it. Like we both, want to succeed so that the other succeeds. And it's just a really beautiful reciprocal energy. And I'm very, very thankful. One thing that I wanted to talk about today was just like, I think a lot of times we see people on social media and we see people, especially us in like the raw world where we're really into juicing and things, and we see people doing things and we think that like our lives, we have everything going on. And so how could we do that? We think that those people that are doing it maybe have it easier, have something that we don't. And, I just wanted to highlight that, all of us, even doing these cleanses, we have things going on too. I didn't tell y'all, but last week, I actually took my kids to the park and something poisonous stung me all up and down my legs, like 40 stings or bites or something. And they started to, it was so painful. It felt like they were going to explode. Like my legs were on fire. It was awful. And so I've been taking a lot of ginger, putting bentonite clay on my legs, just doing all kind of things because they started to be infected and have streaks coming off of them. And I started getting worried. But I kept nursing and I kept praying and just doing all the things, and I'm juicing and taking good care of myself. So that helped me, and things are looking good, better and better every day. And so I'm very, very thankful, but also I have two kids. I had family in town. I cooked for them. So I just want everybody out there to know that's listening that, life keeps on throwing punches, even when we're on juice cleanses,
Yeah.
even there is never going to be like an optimal time to do something because life is always going to be happening. You know, my daughter's actually cut you all to see people and think that, you know, oh, I can't do that because I have this or because I have that, because we all have things going in the background, you know.
Yeah.
Queen Angela, she is amazing doing her
Yeah.
juice cleanse right now, and having, we're sending her so much prayer and love, and I would love for everybody listening to just send her positive energy. And visualize her healing quickly. She had been having problems with her eyes, and so she's having to go in and have surgery, you know. So, and she's feeling so thankful that she's on the juices so that she has, you know, the best chance of a quick recovery and is really setting herself up for success. Aline has been traveling, running all around, still having to, you know, cook for her daughter, make juices in her room. You know, and both of us this week, there was a point this week where we were so busy with our families. We had a day where my daughter's back there taking the bed apart. We had a day where we weren't able to get enough juice in, you know, and for me, I got weak that day. And that's because I wasn't able to get enough hydration. You know, Aline had a spell in the grocery store. So we're all really, life is still pumping. So don't think that because you have this or that or this or that going on, that there's no way you can do what you want to do, because those things are always going to be going on. And if we wait, trying to wait for like the perfect opportunity, we will wait our whole lives because things are
Forever.
always going to be happening. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I wanted to mention and throw out there today. And, you know, I would love to hear, you know, your thoughts, Aline, and how you're doing and how you're feeling about everything.
Yeah, definitely. Like our beautiful sister, Queen Kiki, used to say, you know, if not now, when? And yesterday, as I was traveling in Mexico, I saw a sign that said that. We were like just walking and it said, like, if not now, when? And I know that you and I have been wanting to do a juice cleanse, wanting to detox again for probably a year, I would say. Well, since your last juice cleanse, you've been wanting to come back on it. So this was, you know, maybe what, 6 months, 9 months ago. But myself, like even when you were on your long juice cleanse, I was feeling the call. I was like, okay, I need to do this again. I feel like I need to come back on. You know, but it was like there was so much resistance there. And when we started, it was just the time to start and we did it together. So yeah, I think like it's so important to have a partner doing this with you, either a friend or a coach or a mentor, or if you're lucky like me, you got all three in one. And so somebody who you can trust and you can, you know, send pictures of your parasites to, and talk about those, like, you know, parts of yourself that you feel so like embarrassed and shy to share with, like, just maybe the whole world, but somebody that you feel safe with, that you could say, hey, my butt is burning, you know, like I'm really itchy, or I got like white tongue and I'm smelly, like all these things, because it could be such a lonely journey. And you know, sometimes we have to go through it alone too. If you don't have somebody, like, you're going to have to just go deep within yourself too. Like, it helps to have somebody, but I understand that not everybody has that, you know, special friend. And that's okay too. So like, come into communities. It's so important. We have the Weekend Juice Fasters group that Jennie created. We have the Kings and Queens of Raw community. And so there's so many different outlets where we can feel safe in these groups. So definitely that's been helping me so much to know that you're doing this and Queen Angela's doing this. Like, we're a triad right now of like, we are strong, we are powerful, we are on a mission, and we don't want to let ourselves down and we don't want to let each other down. You know, it's like, you know, the other day I had a dream about food and I ate in my dream, I was eating like, you know, vegan sushi, and there was like a buffet and I was eating Indian food. And my first thought was like, I'm going to need to tell Jennie that I ate, you know, like I'm going to need to tell her. And it felt heavy on me. It felt like, oh, like I don't want to let us down because I committed to this, you know, and I have a purpose. And then when I got up, I was just like, oh my gosh, thank you, Lord. Like, I'm still on the juices. I didn't eat. I didn't mess up my digestion. Like I'm still detoxing. And right after that, I started passing parasites, and I've been waiting for these little buggers. I've been seeing everybody pass these parasites, and I'm like, I'm not seeing them. Like, when I did my first 113-day juice cleanse, I did see them, but like mostly attached to the mucoid plaque, right? So I knew they were there, but I never just like saw them just like that, right? That just never happened. But now I'm like seeing them, and I actually got a picture, and I was just like, yes, praise the Lord. Like I'm seeing them and I feel so much better. And I know that like the pain that I was feeling, yeah, yesterday I was feeling so much pain. I was at the grocery store and I was like, I think I was getting like a little heat stroke at the same time. I wasn't hungry because I go usually in the rising. I don't really drink juice like on a regular, there's nothing unusual that I'm doing. I've done this before. And this particular situation was really parasitic. I was feeling my stomach, and I looked at my friend Kaj and I was like, I am not feeling good. Like I'm in pain. Like there's something really painful going on in my system. I need to go to the bathroom. I was like, I need to go poo. I need to go to the bathroom really bad. And I was like I was at the cash, and like there was so many people around, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And then she's like, well, let me bring you to the car, and will you go sit in the AC and just cool down? So I'm like, okay. And I knew I wasn't going to make it to the car. I knew like this, I was just like, whoa. And then next thing I know, like I'm on the floor and I'm in her arms. I'm just like, oh my God, like, did I just faint? Did I just pass out? How did I end up on the floor? Like, this is so unusual. Even during my water fast, like that never happened. Like I was feeling faint-ish, but I never actually collapsed. So this is something that, may scare somebody. Like I was definitely, but because I've known about the detox process, like right away, my intuition was like, I'm just detoxing. Like, I'm not like weak on a physical level. I'm not, lacking any nutrients. I know I'm not like malnourished in any way. When we're juicing, it's not that. It's just sometimes like for me, it was really the pain. And then as soon as I had a bowel movement and I saw more coming out, like that was it. I felt so much better. Like it was just like a big release that had to happen. And oh my gosh, like I don't really know how to explain exactly what happened, but I know that I just trust so much the process. I trust God. I just know that I'm being divinely guided, and everything that's happening is what's meant to happen. And I just watched a video too from Dr. Morse. Somebody posted it on this guy's post because he's like kind of making fun of me and saying, this is extreme and this is crazy. This woman is insane. But people are commenting on that post saying, well, you don't really understand the detox process. He's saying that mucoid plaque isn't real and parasites are a scam, all this stuff. Like there's definitely naysayers out there. But anyway, somebody posted a video of Dr. Morris, and he was explaining how this man was doing a grape cleanse, and he fainted as well. And then on the bathroom floor, he was like pooping black stuff coming out of him and vomiting black stuff that was coming out of him, like just out the two ends. And he was just there for a few hours on the floor, just like completely releasing old waste. And then after that, he felt like, whoa, like so good. He was like, what is this feeling? And Dr. Morse told him, like, that's God energy. That's your God energy coming through. You're expelling those demons. You're expelling that toxicity, the trauma, the old waste that's been accumulated in your body. So this journey is for the warriors. This journey is no joke, and people may be like, Aline, like maybe it's time to eat. Maybe it's time to like put an end to this. But like, I know intuitively, like I need to keep on going. And it's not because like I want any particular result physically. Like I just know I got so much still health issues going on an internal level that I need to go deeper, and I'm not listening to any of the noise out there. I'm just like really focused on my path. And yeah, I felt so much better after that happened, after that whole like breakdown happened. Today, I feel like energized. Even so much of the inflammation has been going down. I've been, dealing with some inflammation around my stomach area, especially, and it's like gone, like in one day, it's just gone. So yeah, these parasites are real. They are creating havoc in our system. A lot of swelling, inflammation, and when they detach, they don't want to go. They do not want to go from our body, so they're gonna give trouble. It's like you're a little, you're a little kid, and you like don't want to leave the party. You're just like, no, let me stay. And you're like holding on, and you're like begging your parents. They don't want to go. You're a comfy, warm host for them. So of course, it's going to create some problems when they get out, when they come out, and we're basically creating a really inhospitable environment for them. Yeah, so yeah, it's been intense and beautiful and difficult, challenging, but I've been moving the energy around. I went for a swim. I'm getting a lot of sunlight. I'm sweating. All those things really assist us in the healing crisis, in the healing process, and just understanding too that the body may look like it is sick, right? When we are in a healing crisis, like we may have fever, cold, chills, headaches, irritability. Like to the outsider that's not really used to this, it may appear as though it's sickness, but it's actually sickness leaving the body, right? It's actually the body healing itself. So, and Dr. Morse was also explaining that certain people may actually end up in the hospital, like in the ER, because of their detox is so intense. And sometimes he would even send somebody just to stabilize them for a certain period of time, because when the body is like in such a degenerative state and you're starting to heal it and you're starting to put in the right foods in it, it may go into like a really high state of acute symptoms. But we just got to trust that the fruit, the juices, the herbs, and the herbs really help in this kind of instance too. If somebody's dealing with healing crisis, it's good to have the herbs to like balance things out a little bit. So yeah, healing crisis is real, but on the other end, we feel so much better. And that's what the journey is all about. So yeah, my heart goes out to you too about those bites. I wanted to say too, like that must be really, really difficult and scary too, to be seeing that happening. And definitely because you're on the detox, it may actually, when we have a little lesion on the body, like a little pimple or something like that, like when we're detoxing, I feel like it may even stay open a little bit longer, because it's like a gate, it's like a way for the toxins to release from the body. So there may be some of that too going on. But you're such a brave warrior queen. Like you face all the challenges, eating out with families, sipping on juices. Like this is no joke. This is really hard. And myself too, like I'm with children who want to eat, regular food, and we're going to restaurants. I was at a ramen restaurant last night, and I just made myself like extra juice, and I was just like chugging on it, and taking deep breaths and just remembering, reconnecting, coming back to my why, coming back to my soul family that's like, doing this with me. And we ride through those waves and we do it, because I know how I would feel if I do cave in at this point. I would probably feel terrible with this food, probably get like super swollen, really inflamed. And I don't know if I could stay on the juice cleanse, honestly. For me, if I start incorporating a little bit of cooked foods or any foods, like, I don't know, I'm kind of like all or nothing, you know what I mean? It's kind of difficult for me to come back on the juicing right away. Yeah. Love you so much, Queen Angela. We are here for you, sending you so much love, praying for your surgery and for it to go well.
Yes. Sending prayers for Angela. And you are such a warrior goddess. I'm so proud of you and just so excited for, this cleanse. I'm feeling already very spiritually uplifted. I'm starting to feel more calm in my body. Before we did the juice cleanse, I actually ate a couple vegan peanut butter cups. I had not been eating any sugar, anything like that. And I got wrapped up with the kids and sent everything into a spiral, like it's like gasoline on a fire when you have processed sugar and you have like anti-inflammatory issues like I do, like arthritis, like fibro, stuff like that. And so I had been having so much pain in my joints. And then when I started juicing, to what you're saying about healing crisis, when I started juicing, the pain increased. My joints had been feeling so tight and just, even more pain. But I know, because I've juiced so extensively, that is it leaving the body. That sugar needed to leave the body. A lot of time inflammation can last a long time. It takes weeks after eating sugar to really truly get it out. And so now that we're in the third week, like today, I woke up today, I pulled my knees up to my chest and I was like, yes, like my joints are feeling the relief. Like I said, I'm feeling more calm, and just more sure and confident and more like connected to the Most High, and just feeling like I am really, serving my purpose. And also something else you mentioned that's really, really important for anyone listening that intends to juice extensively. Aline was mentioning how sometimes we feel like, I'm trying to think what's the word. It's like, think about a pipe, like think about your intestines like a pipe, and think about if those pipes are getting clogged, when you see the gunk all around the rim, in order to break that stuff up, you have to put so much liquid. Sometimes we might even have to soak things to get the gunk off. You know what I mean? If it's been on there a long time. So that's really what it's like when this stuff starts breaking off. I was having some rough stomach pains this time too, right before I passed my parasites as well. And who knows, I might have felt lightheaded if I were out and running around and doing all the things that day. But that was a day where I was like, I'm having this stomach, I'm just going to home. I had that option. If you are feeling like some deep pains and you're able to just stay home and rest, which we can't always understand, but we just have to be careful and be really aware of ourselves, But when that stuff starts to break off, just think about how dirty like the water and the liquids get inside. The last thing you want to do is not drink enough juice. So for any of you listening and visualizing this pipe and the stuff breaking off, just think, if you don't continue to put water through the pipes, then that gunk that's breaking off will just sit there. And it'll make us feel worse and worse. So it's really important to just drink as much juice, especially when we're feeling bad, to help wash all of those toxins that have broken free from the intestines out, because you really don't want that stuff sitting there. My first extended juice cleanse, there was a time in the beginning when this was happening to me and I didn't know, and I didn't feel good. All I wanted to do was lay around, and I didn't want to drink juice. And you were telling me, drink juice. And I'm no, I don't even want to drink juice. And I laid it around, and basically I detoxed worse for several days because I felt so blah that I didn't drink my juice, and that stuff just sat there. Really important to not restrict the amount of juice you're drinking when you're doing an extended cleanse, and especially aren't feeling best on your extended cleanse. When something is breaking free and needs to be washed out, you want a lot of liquid, and not just washing out, drinking liquids. If you're feeling bad, something else that can really help is like an enema, or go and get a colonic. Again, more water to hydrate that gunk and drag it out so that it's not just broken off and sitting in your system and leaching out into your bloodstream, making you feel bad. So that was something I wanted to mention, just with what you said, and that I had some bad, deep stomach pains this time right before my parasites passed. I felt it very deep, and I kind of sat with it and processed it. And I'm lucky that I wasn't running around like you were. It just happened to be a day where I was home versus if I would have been out and about at the grocery store, I would have been probably rushing to the bathroom too. That's something else, y'all. When you're drinking all this juice, be careful. I was going to make a video yesterday in Sprouts, but I didn't have time. Just basically a reel of me running toward the restroom because all of a sudden it hit me when I was at the grocery store. So another really good tip is when you are on an extended cleanse and releasing, try to make sure the places you go to that you have a restroom accessible, because you really never know when it's to hit, when you start clearing out your gut. I've had a couple of those run to the bathroom parasite dumps. So this time so far.
Wow.
Oh
I know. Praise God. Praise God. Better out than in, and it could be so scary and emotional too of a process to realize and we've been plant-based, everybody, for years. What, 10 years? Like, we've been plant-based, vegan. We haven't even been eating any kind of animals, no dairy. We've been mostly whole food, plant-based, like all this whole time. So what the fuck? Like, where are these coming from? You know what I mean? And can you imagine what somebody has inside of them that does eat dead animal parts and cheese and processed sugars and, you know, refined foods every single day? Like, this is tons and tons of pathogenic bacteria and, you know, parasites that feed off of this dead, rotting carcass, right? That's what parasites feed off. So maybe we've had them there for many years from our childhood, or sometimes they do come in through the produce as well, right? I'm not saying like because we're raw vegan that there's no parasites there too, but it's just like it's necessary to be cleansing on a regular basis because these are causing so much of the problems. And even in our course in regenerative health, like everything could almost be linked back to a parasitic or, you know, bacteria overgrowth. Like every single disease on the planet could be traced back to, yes, a backed up colon and you know, intestine and gut. But what does that create? That backup and mucoid plaque, like basically accumulate parasites. So it's just this whole cycle of what do we need to eliminate from our system? It's not what we need to put in. Yes, superfoods are great. Yes, herbs are great, but it's really more about like what are we taking out from our diet in with those support. But we can't just be putting in superfoods and not changing the diet. We can't just be putting in herbs and not changing the diet. We can't expect to like release this amount of, you know, old waste and parasites unless we're on a liquid diet. You know, like for me, it's the only way. Even being on all fruit for a while, even being all raw vegan for a while, like I've never seen this level of deep healing and cleansing as on a juice feast. Like, yeah, it's really, really powerful. And start off, like we always say, you know, start off with 1 day of juicing, start off with 3 days of juicing if you've never done this before, and then move your way up to a week, to 10 days, to 40 days. The goal is to get to 40 days plus if you really want to get to those deeper layers and start releasing that plaque, start releasing those parasites. You know, it's going to come a little bit later on. I think we're seeing it earlier on, you and me, because we've been doing this before, but not everybody will see them so early on. It may take a little bit more time. So yeah, it's really important to get a sponsor, get a mentor, get into a community, and really arm yourself with the knowledge, the wisdom. There's a great documentary too called Super Juice Me. I believe it's on Netflix or YouTube, and it's free. It's a really great documentary. And a lot of these people that come there are like on tons of medication and they're juicing. They're in this facility, this place where they're juicing, and they record themselves sometimes when they're having cravings. And it's a really great video. And I think we should make another documentary on juicing, honestly. There needs to be more. There needs to be more people talking about this. Yeah. John Rose is a great one who talks about the solid food vacation. He talks a lot about it. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention that he helped us out with a lot for a healing crisis is to do abdominal massages regularly during a juice feast. It's really, really important to massage your stomach and to really like go into the stomach. And I think that too has helped me to release the parasites, because intuitively I've always been doing that on a juice feast. It's just like going in, you know, clockwise and just like massaging around your belly button and really like going deep into those areas. And I was feeling something hard, you know, right there for a few days, and now I don't feel it anymore. So yuck. Get it out. Saunas are really beneficial too, to get the toxins out and to get things moving. Doing planks, if you need some help releasing, do some planks every day to tone up the core, and then also to like activate that heat, that fire in the stomach. There's so much we could do during a healing crisis, but just don't panic. You know, it's your body releasing, and it's normal. It's good. It's to be welcome and celebrated. And I don't know, maybe if I didn't have the community I had and the support I had, maybe I would freak out too, and I wouldn't know what to do. But here we are sharing this so that others don't be afraid too, and just could ride those waves and continue on their cleanse. So Yeah, tell us a little bit, like what are some of the things that you do, like when you're with your family and everybody's eating these foods, you're at the mall, like what's going on in your mind? Like what's going on in your spirit that makes you like stick to the juices? I want to know. Like I've been learning from you too every single day, and I use your tools, I use your tricks all the time to myself stay on the juices.
Something that really, really helps me is that I think a lot of times when we do things, we don't fully commit and we allow ourselves to consider and we allow ourselves to be enticed and to be tempted, right? But what I'm learning is, having juiced for so long, um, is that we can really choose not to entertain the temptation. So I went to the mall strong in my mentality, not even considering that I would taste anything. And that helps us when we start to, what's the word? When we start to like compromise with ourselves or like try to negotiate with ourselves or even just entertain the thoughts of having the food, that's what makes it so much more difficult. If we can fully commit and come back to center in those moments and just eliminate the thought altogether, it is so much easier because there is no fight with yourself. There is no argument like, well, maybe if I just have a little taste, well, oh, I'm so hungry. When you start to entertain those thoughts, that's when you might find yourself starting to feel a bit wobbly in your conviction. Something else that really helps me is like I brought 64 ounces of juice to the mall when we went. Like I had it in the stroller with me, and we're at the food court and I'm drinking my juice while they're getting their stuff. And it actually, to me, sometimes gets to a point where my commitment and conviction is so strong that I actually even just can enjoy the smells of the food. Which I know that probably sounds crazy, and you do have to get to a certain place, but there are times now when I'm deep in where I can just enjoy and appreciate the smells of food without having to taste them because I know they're not for me. Like right now, that food is not for me, and that's one way that we can really help ourselves. Something else that really helps me is I don't say I'm hungry out loud. I don't say, I wish I could have this. I wish I could have that. All of that is counterproductive. And it's you telling yourself something that's not in alignment with what you're trying to do. So if I walk around the house all day moping and saying like, oh, I want a piece of cake. Oh, I wish I could have some of that pizza y'all are having or whatever, that's counterproductive. That is not in alignment with what I'm trying to do. And it pulls me away from that and puts me in a place of entertainment and temptation. So that is something that really, really helps me staying super full of juice, not speaking those words out loud, because guess what? They also aren't true. When I say I'm so hungry, am I though? Because I'm drinking enough juice. So am I really hungry, or am I convincing myself I'm hungry? Because I really like to eat immediately. We have to have like these pretty deep conversations with ourselves when we're juicing, and it's not easy. But we find ways to kind of, make it work and to stay strong. And that helps in other aspects of life too. Don't tell yourself things about something you're trying not to do. Like, oh, I really want to do this. I really want to do that. Don't tell yourself things about, or don't say those kind of statements to yourself that are opposite of mentally what you are actually really wanting to do in your heart and what's aligned for you. When we speak words that aren't aligned with what we're trying to do, it throws us off our purpose. So I don't even entertain those thoughts. I don't say I'm hungry. I might type it to you every once in a while. I might send you a message every once in a while, but I don't even speak those words out loud because they are not serving me. They're not serving what I'm trying to do. Something else I have been doing too is you can go even sit outside, or you don't even have to sit outside, but take some deep breaths, close your eyes, and open up your senses I like to sit outside, close my eyes, have my phone away from me, take deep breaths, and try to name the first 5 or 10 things that I can hear. Oh, I close my eyes and I hear the birds chirping. I hear the kids swimming in the pool. I hear the breeze rustling through the tree by my patio. These things are very calm for us, and they reconnect us to center, to source, to the most high, to the universe. And that can really help us stand in our power, in our conviction as well, detaching ourselves from the worldly things. You know, these foods that are tempting us, they're worldly things. And if we want to be spiritual beings, you know, not of this world and not of these materials, then we need to practice separating ourselves from them in ways like closing our eyes and taking ourselves away from screens and listening to the sounds and looking at the sun, looking at the trees, looking at the clouds, you know, feeling the grass beneath our feet. We need to disconnect to reconnect to ourselves. And that is a huge part of how you can really help yourself stay strong in a juice cleanse and in these situations, you know, by practicing that regularly. Feeling overwhelmed, ground yourself. You know, look around at 5 different things that you see. Listen for 5 different sounds that you hear. Smell the smells, like the crisp air. You know, all of these things that we take for granted now because we look at screens all the time, you know? So I think that's my biggest suggestions at this point that really help me get through. Also, do something joyful for yourself. Take care of yourself. Insert self-care when you're struggling. You know, I've been singing to myself a lot, listening to a lot of music. I have a guitar. I'm like trying to teach myself to play the guitar because we're never too old to do things that we want to do and to try new things. You know, we can do anything. God equipped us with the power, but we just don't know, you know, because so much of culture and society takes us away from our own power from the time we're children. You know, this is something I harp on all the time. Kids having to ask to use the restroom at school or eat at a certain hour because that's when the food's prepared instead of when we're hungry. And we wonder why we don't know how to look within and how to eat when we are actually hungry and how to choose foods that are good for us because our foods have been chosen for us since the time we're children. You know, and that's also why anytime we have a little ailment or a healing crisis or we feel something going on, we get scared and think we need to run to somebody else, to the doctor. You know, that's why I didn't run to the doctor with my legs. I researched for myself. I looked what I needed to do for the bites. I did get a little worried at a point where I saw some streaking, but I did my research and I took care of it. And if it would have gotten to a point where I did need to see a physician, please, everyone know I would have. So I'm not suggesting anyone not go to the doctor either when you feel that's what you need to do. But most of the time, that's not the case. If we really, really go within, do some research and make some adjustments ourselves. But a lot of us, we just don't know how to do that because that's not what we're taught from the time we're kids. We're taught the exact opposite, to ask somebody else. Even now, you know, a lot of times I'm working on myself instead of when I'm having a going through something, you know, often I would ask, you know, want to ask advice. And it's okay to ask advice, but I also want to leave this out there that it's really good to ask yourself. You know, we really do have the answers inside and we just come in to recognize that, you know, we do know what we need to do. God equipped us all. So that was kind of long-winded, but that's my tips on, you know, sticking to it when you're feeling like tempted and all the things kind of closing in. Tell yourself, you know, that you're okay. Remind yourself the path that you're on. Have conversations with yourself. If we didn't constantly scroll and have social media and all the things, we would be having conversations with ourselves. And we all have God inside. So we would in turn be not only conversing with ourselves, but with the higher power. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of us, our connection is kind of lost in ways. What about you? What do you do to help you in those moments, like at the ramen place, you know, and stuff like that? What do you do to help you?
I think of you.
That too. I did think of you a lot. Like one time when the kids had, or my family or something, they had sushi, and that's one of my favorite things. And I was like, no, Aline and I really, really need this. I also didn't want to have to tell you. So yeah, that I absolutely helped.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. That was beautiful and so many gems. And you sing so beautifully. You were saying that you sing. Like, to those who haven't heard Jennie singing, please go listen. She just made a really like short video like yesterday, and I was crying. I was like, oh my God, this is such an angel. You sing so well. I encourage you to keep on singing and to share your voice and to spread your voice like far and wide, because you truly have a gift to sing and it touches our soul. And it's such a beautiful gift. And I think that's so important for us to develop our artistic side, our creative side, to learn how to play like children. And I, for one, have certainly kind of forgotten that, and I used to love to paint. I used to love to play guitar. I had so much creativity in me. I played the flute. I was in theater. Like, I love to do all these creative things. And, as years pass and time goes and, our phones, like for me, like my phone has taken up so much of my time, energy, and like, I'm really dealing with an addiction here, and I'm conscious of it. I'm very conscious that, it's an addiction for me, especially social media. And so I really am striving to reconnect and to take time to, like, I started doing a few years ago, but I don't really talk about it much, but I've been like drawing light language. And I just basically, like, sometimes I close my eyes, but I take a piece of paper and I just let my hand flow, and it just goes, and I'm just like drawing. And sometimes it's beautiful, sometimes it looks like crazy, but it feels so good. It feels like I'm activating some like codes inside of me. And sometimes there's actually like geometrical shapes that start to happen. And like I feel like I'm receiving just like a movement that's not even mine. It's hard to explain. But anyway, I love to draw light language and and also to sing. If I just let my voice go, I'm too shy to sing like in front of people. I don't think I have a good voice, but I do love to sing. I do love to hum, just some kind of way to move the energy around. If I'm feeling a lot of anger, I've learned to scream. I've learned to like have that primal scream where I just like put my face in the pillow, or I go out in nature or in the car where nobody's around and I let it rip, because a lot of the times we have repressed anger, a lot of the depression that we're experiencing, a lot of the anxiety, the sadness, like what's underneath that is, I've heard that depression is actually repressed anger, anger from our childhood, anger from, breakups that we've had, from bullies that bullied us, like from the abuse that we received. Like, we've all been so abused in our life in so many different ways from society. Like, looking around, look at this messed up world. Like, how can we not have anger? So we need to find ways to channel that anger in healthy ways and not bring it in and self-harm, self-harm through eating disorders, self-harm through drugs, self-harm through alcohol. That's a numbing process that we've gone through because we were like in survival mode, because we were so scared of dealing with reality as it was, because it's a cruel reality, so now we're coming home to ourselves and telling ourselves, like, we're parenting ourselves. I really am parenting myself at this point where I'm like talking to myself, I literally have conversations with myself, like you said, where I'm like rationalizing the situation, and it's almost like, okay, well, and just like with alcohol and drugs, I sometimes tell myself, okay, well, just for today, like, juice one more day, and then you'll make the decision tomorrow if you want to eat, if you really, really feel like it's time to eat, like, wait a day. And I always did this in all my juice cleanses, where sometimes I was having doubts, and am I supposed to eat again? Should I eat? But I take the whole day. I don't make the decision hastily, and usually after that night passes, the next day, I'm still on the juices and I want to stay on the juices. Just like sobriety, like I don't want to use, no, okay, one more day, you know, one more day. And then it just keeps going like that. So the one day at a time really helps me, even though I have a goal in mind, but just taking it one day at a time really helps. And yeah, everything that you said, grounding, having enough juice is absolutely so important. Like, do not restrict on a juice cleanse. Always make sure that you have lots of juices on you. You're prepared ahead of time. I make it a priority, even if people have to wait for me, like, you know, they just, that's it. Like, we're going to the restaurant, you're going to get your food. Like, I need to take care of me and make sure that I have what I need for the day. So put yourself first. It has to be a priority. You know, even if you have to get up at 4 a.m. to make your juices, like, do it. And you're gonna get into the rhythm, and probably you're not gonna sleep as much, so you'll be fine. But yeah, all those things are really, really beneficial. Journaling too, you know, writing down what's going on, what's coming up, some old emotions may be coming up, some old fears, traumas coming to the surface. So an outlet of self-expression, whatever that may look like to you, use it, you know, use those outlets. Don't keep it bottled in, because that's usually what drives us to the food again, is bottling it in. But if we're managing our emotions, if we're processing our emotions, then we don't need to use food to manage them for us, in a sense, you know, because food could come in as a way to deal with the emotions that we don't want to deal with. So deal with the emotions and you won't need the food so much. I think that's what's happening with me, is I'm just dealing with the emotions and being honest too. I'm setting boundaries for myself. And my recovery and my juicing and all of that, one thing that I've really noticed has been happening more is I don't take bullshit no more from people. I don't accept abuse anymore. I don't tolerate people who abuse me or who treat me a certain way. They like, they do not have a place in my life anymore. Like, quick. And I'm sorry to say this, but I feel like that's part of my ascension. That's part of why I'm doing so good. That's part of why I'm able to stay sober, because I'm not allowing these parasitic energies to come in. And if they do come in, they get out quick, because I am more sensitive to my surroundings. I protect my space more. I'm very trusting. I'm very loving. So I do let in a lot of people, or I have in the past. And the moment there's like a bit of drama, there's a moment of, I'm not saying like, you know, people have to be perfect to be in my life, or like never make mistakes, like none of that. Like, I love my friends unconditionally, the ones that, you know, bring a lot to my life, you know, bring joy, bring happiness, bring support, and don't drag me down. It's like that, how do you say, there's like a vampire energy sometimes, you know, with empaths, that people come in and they want to take from you, and they're not really giving back to you. Like, I'm not on that frequency no more. Like, I want to give and I want to receive. So I'm only allowing those kinds of relationships where I feel like it's a fair exchange of energy. And that, all this to say that this has helped me to stay on the path, helped me to stay on the cleanse, because if I'm allowing people to take from me and, you know, take advantage of me and treat me bad, what's going to happen? I'm just going to turn inwards and harm myself. So I very much am more conscious of my environment, and I remove myself from situations, even if it's family, that don't serve my highest good, that don't know how to honor, respect me. They make fun of me. If they put me down, if they're like in any way narcissistic towards me, they are out. I do not have relationships with these people, family or not. I don't care. My life is the most important, and I will not compromise it for anybody. I don't care about people's feelings that much anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if people's feelings are hurt, like, that's on them. Like, I don't know. I know it sounds really harsh, but like, I just can't be walking on eggshells no more for people. So I know the people in my life, like, that are there, that stick around, like, it's because we're really good. You know what I mean? And we feel good and we flow, and it's natural. It's not forced. It's not feeling like difficult and dramatic and draining. Like, I don't know, I can't do those kinds of relationships no more. So yeah.
Oh my God, you dropped so many gems. Like, that was so good. So many things you said. Yes to the boundaries. We
Yeah.
need them. And, you know, I think of it like, if you want to shine like your brightest light and be a star and a light in the sky, you know, these things, they're high, and not everybody is going to be able to reach. You know, we should be like a star in the sky, and and be able to give and receive, and not allow anything in that is going to drag us down, and it doesn't mean avoid or don't process, because we can even close off these kind of things with love, but still it's about protecting our peace in our space, and that is going to take us so much further. Really, it's the only way to truly love yourself, because when you allow other people to abuse you, or you allow them to treat you a certain way, that's that's it. And something else big you said was just like waiting a day. I think that is so important and such good advice for us in our lives, because we really learn compulsivity. Right. We have been trained up and we don't even know it, with all the commercials and the things for us to buy by the register at the store, and the constant advertisements that are slid in on us. We're like constantly receiving subliminal messages to consume. And this can even be helpful for those, like for me, for instance, I'm leaning back toward minimalism. Mm-hmm. And what you mentioned is something that I also use with that. And many people do in minimalism, and recognizing when we actually want to take what we need versus, all that we want or we think we want. Like, even if you want to make a purchase, if you wait 24 hours, you may go, I didn't even need that. Yeah. And the same can be said for food. And that can just be really applied to a lot of aspects of our life, just telling ourselves no, and then using some self-control, building up our discipline, and then reassessing at a later time instead of acting compulsively. I think that is such a big part of it. And I'm really glad that you talked about that, because so much of our eating is just compulsive. It's like, oh, I'm not feeling good. And then there's a candy bar and it's like, oh, I'll have that, and we get a little dose of like sugar and it's like, okay, I'm feeling better, but you're not really. And then you fall back down, and it's just like this instead of, a little bit more like this.
And then you want more the next day.
Yeah. And it opens up the floodgates a lot of times. And then we haven't been practicing telling ourselves, no, we're waiting. And so we're not used to it. And we just act immediately, and we just grab, oh, you're going through the fast food. Sure. I'll take some fries. I wasn't even hungry, but yeah, you're going through. Sure. I'll have them. I would like that instant gratification and numbing and that serotonin release, why not? This is the hard work, like actually telling yourself no, telling that primal, compulsive mind no, and that you're in control and you're in the driver's seat. And it's so empowering, isn't it? We tell ourselves like no, and then we turn around, like me, and like yesterday I was like, oh wow, 17 days, we're already almost 3 weeks. And then I think my mom or somebody said something, and I was saying like, we can do anything we want to. Like, I haven't had a bite of food in almost 3 weeks now. How much do we really need? So you get stronger, you get more confident, and it's so liberating to not feel controlled by these worldly things. Again, back to these worldly things that don't really matter. So, wow, you just said so many things that were just so amazing and so helpful. And I know that anybody who is wanting to do an extended cleanse and is watching this is definitely going to benefit from this talk today. That was just so good.
Oh, all our talks are fire. We're so good.
Yes.
every time we come off our lives, we're like, whoa, that was amazing. Like, you're so good. We praise each other all the time, and we raise each other up, and we're like, Queen, you are like hitting, the nail on the head all the time, and you're just shining your light so bright. And I love that we're elevating ourselves, elevating each other. And we are preparing for another Sweet Spot support group. We do love to support others. We do it in our time. Queen Jennie and I have a lot going on, but we do want to bring this back. So stay tuned. We'll be announcing it fairly soon. We are working on it, but our support groups are so powerful, because it's us. Like we're so real and natural, you know, and that's really what I love so much about you. Like one of the things that I love so much about you is like you're so authentic, you know, like you are yeah, you're like down to earth, you are, you know, a real mama, like you got shit going on, you're not scared to say things as they are. Like we take off the veil, we really take off the a lot of the shame about this journey that a lot of people maybe, you know, kind of not talking about, or, you know, they're just making it look so perfect and good. And we're like, not down to the nitty gritty, and we're not scared to lay it all out on the table. And people want that. People want real, and they really, really appreciate our type of coaching, our style, our group. Everybody that's come into the sweet spot has gotten so much benefits, have been able to juice for extended periods of time or stay on the fruits. And that's really like a testament of our synergy together as friends and as, you know, colleagues and partners. And we just get along so well. And I truly, truly love you and adore you. And I'm so, so grateful for all the work that we're doing in healing our, you know, even the sister wound, you know, with each other. We, you know, I certainly came into this relationship with a lot of trust issues that you've helped me heal on a soul level. And that makes me love you that much more, you know, because we can have those difficult conversations with each other. And I really feel like people feel that, you know, our friendship is genuine, and we can't wait to see each other again. We're just like, oh my God, it hurts to be apart. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, like we're so blessed to have each other. And I cannot thank you enough for encouraging me to even start the Kings and Queens of Raw community. Like that's all you, you know, you really helped me from the beginning. You helped me to feel like I was a good coach when I felt like, who wants to listen to me? Like, who's going to listen to me? Like, I literally had no self-confidence in myself. I was just like trying to heal myself, you know, and you're like, oh my God, you helped me so much. And I was like, really? What? Like, I helped you, and you helped me to see, to light that spark in me of wanting to help others and wanting to come on video more, all of it. Like, our friendship has really been a catalyst for so much change in my life. So thank you. Thank you, beautiful
Angel,
soul.
thank you. And this is just a testament to, you know, bringing people in your space that uplift you and really finding expanders, because you have been such an expander for me. I wouldn't even leave a voice clip because I didn't love my voice. I say this all the time because it's kind of a big deal for me, you know, and now, you know, I help coach people, I help lead these groups and do all these things with you. I even now put reels where I actually
Yes,
sang, like,
yes.
and that's just something, there's just something about bringing people in your life who want the best for you, that will uplift you, that will not judge you,
Yeah.
and just like have open arms with love, you know. And you've just lifted me up from the moment we connected, and it's just been such a blessing to be in your light and witness your growth and your strength. And you're such a beautiful leader, always thinking of others, always raising others up. And it's just a joy and an honor to be in your space, you know.
Oh,
And that's the kind of people that we want around us, right? People that we feel like it's a joy and an honor to be around. Those are the kind of people that we want to keep close if that's the path that we want to be on. It's really so much about alignment and leading with love, you know, always with love, everything.
yeah.
So just thank you so much. I know we both feel like God has connected us
Yes.
so that we could help heal each other. And in that, we're able to help others heal. And that's really our greatest purpose at this point. We just want to help others. It's why we're here and doing all these things that otherwise we wouldn't be doing. Neither one of us likes being on camera. Neither one of us likes speaking publicly, you know. And that being said too, something you brought up earlier that was really beautiful that I wanted to highlight too. You said so many good things, but going back to our creative side and our childlike ways when we were innocent and pure and so full of love is like so very important. And it really happens naturally on the juice cleanse. You disconnect from all of this worldly and you go back to center, and you really go back to the things that you love, you know. And that's why I've found myself singing more. That's why I've found you uncover gifts that you always had that you maybe didn't remember or didn't even know, you know. And just like so many people have told me, even though I didn't want to leave a voice clip, but I couldn't count the number of people who have come to me and said, and not singing, but just speaking like, hey, I really appreciate your voice. It's so calming and it makes me feel calm when I'm upset. And and I couldn't believe that, I just couldn't believe it at first, but then more and more people told me that. And that's actually why I've shared a little bit of singing, because I saw people messaged me and said, I listened to that video over and over. I was having a hard time and it like touched my heart. And I just cried, and I thought, like, we have all these gifts that God has given us. And sometimes we don't even recognize them for what they are. But like when we start to clean our temple, those gifts, they resurface.
Yeah.
And that's part of how we shine our light into the world. We don't deny others those gifts, So that is why we are here. And that is why we are spreading this message of love and putting our faces all on the screen here with you all. And it's just really a blessing. And I'm so, so thankful to be on this path. And just to finish up, because I know we're going a little bit long, the last thing I was going to say is gratitude. You asked earlier, how do you move forward? How do you not eat the pizza? How do you not do the things? Gratitude. I go back to gratitude so much, and I remember all that I have and all that I'm thankful for. And I thank God, and I express joy and gratitude through song, through chanting, like you said, through music, but through expression. So creativity and gratitude go hand in hand, so that is another big thing. If you're feeling down, if you're juicing or not, if you're feeling down in life, look around and see what you have to be grateful for, and try to focus on that. And it's going to take you so much farther than wallowing in all that is not going right. That's something that's helping me so much right now. So that's the last little gem I'll drop today. And just really, really thankful to be here. Excited for all that this journey holds. We're already like almost 20% through. So like day 18, we're 18% complete on 100 days, just like that, and it's only going to get better and better from here. So I'm so, so very grateful for you and for everyone listening. And I'm just sending you all so much love.
Thank you so much, beautiful. I love you. And yes, gratitude is everything. It really is. It snaps us out of our negative mindset and brings us back to all we have. And as long as we're alive, we have so much to be grateful for, even if we're in a bad situation, even if we think like the whole world is falling apart, we still have so much to be grateful for and lessons to be learned in all the situations that we're going through. So you are exactly where you need to be, wherever you are in life. And just know that, prayer, fasting, meditation, friendship, like you can pull yourself out of a very dark place, and when you decide you've had enough, then you will have had enough. When you decide that you don't want to live that way anymore and you deserve a better life, you deserve to be free. When you know that deep in your soul, you will be liberated. God is just waiting for you to let him do the miracles. It's a co-creation. Like he can only do for us what we do for ourselves. So if we feel that we are ready to have that freedom, then he will liberate us, and we are already liberated. Only our ego and our, we kind of have these shackles on us, but we can break them too. Like it's a really beautiful thing when we learn to liberate ourselves as well and learn to follow God, and he continues to like bless us every single day. Yes.
And speaking for you right then. Exactly. 100%.
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
Love you all so
Liberation.
much. Yes. Thank you for joining from near and far. Please share this video. It's also going to be on our YouTube channels. Follow Queen Jennie and Juice on YouTube, and Queen Aline for myself. And please just let us know if you need any support. We both offer private coaching, and we would love to be there for you. So thank you all so much. Best of luck, and sending you all so much love. Praying for Queen Angela, and we'll keep you posted. Love you all so much. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.